I'm sure you've heard the news. Meghan Markle fiercely protects her kids' privacy. It's become one of the defining features of her public persona since stepping back from royal duties. Whether she's attending a charity gala or simply walking down the street, Meghan is vigilant about shielding her children, Archie and Lilibet, from the relentless gaze of the media. She's spoken out repeatedly about the dangers of overexposure, the risks of paparazzi intrusion, and the importance of letting children grow up away from the public eye. In interviews, she's described the anxiety that comes with knowing photographers might be lurking around every corner, waiting for a glimpse of her family. For Meghan, privacy isn't just a preference. It's a cause she's championed on global platforms, urging society to rethink how we treat the youngest and most vulnerable among us. She won't let their faces appear online, ever. Not in official photos, not in casual snapshots, not even in fleeting Instagram stories. Every image of Archie and Lilibet that makes its way to the public is carefully curated, with faces turned away or artfully obscured. Meghan and Harry have made it clear their children's identities are off limits. They've gone so far as to take legal action against media outlets that overstep, sending a strong message that their family's boundaries are not to be crossed. This approach has sparked debate. Some applaud their commitment, while others question whether it's realistic in the digital age. But for Meghan, the principle is non-negotiable. She's determined to give her children the chance to decide for themselves, when they're older, how much of their lives they want to share with the world. But what happens when the camera turns on someone else's children? Meghan and Harry are famous for keeping their own children out of the spotlight, preaching about online harms and digital safety. They've spoken at conferences, written op-eds, and partnered with organisations dedicated to protecting kids from the pitfalls of social media. Their advocacy is rooted in personal experience. After all, they know better than most how invasive the press can be. They warn about the dangers of digital footprints, the permanence of online images, and the psychological toll that public scrutiny can take on young minds. Their message is clear. Children deserve a safe, private space to grow and learn, free from the pressures of fame and the risks of exploitation. Yet scroll through Meghan's public platforms, and you'll find photos of other people's kids, sometimes with parental permission, sure, but still broadcast to millions. Whether it's a charity event, a school visit, or a community project, Meghan's social media often features smiling children, their faces front and centre. These images are shared widely, liked and commented on by fans around the world. Sometimes the children are part of a larger group. Other times they're singled out for special attention. The captions are heartfelt, the intentions noble, but the result is the same. These kids become part of Meghan's public narrative, their images preserved online for anyone to see. It raises a question: if privacy is so precious, why make exceptions for other families? Isn't that a bit ironic? The contrast is hard to ignore. On one hand, Meghan is adamant that her own children must be shielded from the spotlight at all costs. On the other, she's willing to share images of other people's children, sometimes in contexts that are deeply personal or emotionally charged. It's a double standard that hasn't gone unnoticed. Critics argue that it undermines her credibility as an advocate for child privacy. Supporters counter that parental consent makes all the difference. But the debate goes deeper than legalities. It's about consistency, ethics, and the message we send to society about whose privacy matters. If sharing your child's face is so risky, why is it suddenly okay when it's someone else's kid? The digital world is unforgiving. Once a photo is online, it's nearly impossible to erase. Children featured in public posts may not understand the long-term implications. Their images can be copied, shared, and even misused by strangers. For Meghan, these are the very dangers she warns against when it comes to her own family. So why take the risk with others? Is it because the cause is worthy, or because the moment feels special? Or is it simply easier to draw the line when it's your own child, and less so when you're trying to promote a good cause or connect with your audience? Is parental consent really enough, or does it just sidestep the real ethical question? Legally, a parent can agree to have their child's photo shared. But children can't truly understand what it means to have their image online forever. They can't predict how those photos might be used, or how they might feel about them years down the line. Parental consent is important, but it's not a magic shield against all potential harm. It doesn't address the broader issue of whether it's right to make children part of a public narrative before they're old enough to choose for themselves. Meghan's advocacy highlights these concerns, so why not apply the same caution universally? Public figures don't get a pass. If you're telling the world to protect children's privacy, shouldn't that rule apply to all kids, not just your own? The influence of celebrities is immense. When someone like Meghan Markle speaks out, people listen. Her choices set an example, shaping how millions think about privacy, parenting, and social media. If she draws a hard line for her own family but relaxes the rules for others, it sends a mixed message. It suggests that privacy is a privilege, not a right, a luxury reserved for the famous rather than a basic protection for every child. True advocacy means holding yourself to the same standards you expect from others, even when it's inconvenient or unpopular. Maybe it's time for consistency, not just convenience, when it comes to privacy online. The digital age has made it easier than ever to share our lives, but it's also made it harder to protect what matters most. As parents, influencers, and members of a global community, we all have a role to play in safeguarding children's privacy. That means thinking twice before posting, respecting boundaries, and recognizing that every child deserves the same protection, regardless of who their parents are. Meghan Markle's advocacy has sparked an important conversation. Now it's up to all of us, including Meghan herself, to ensure that our actions match our words and that we build a culture of respect and responsibility for the next generation.